Hello. So, I have this new microphone right here. Try to make it so people can hear me better. And it's supposed to clip to my shirt, like right down there. But I have a beard. And I did a little check, a little test. And it was very scratchy under that beard. I'm just going to talk normal. Not going to be loud. Because I kind of want to see what it does. I'm also going to... So, I guess I'll do this. I'll do ASMR. I'll do this. And how about maybe I could clip it to my glasses? Yeah, that's a normal thing that normal people do. That's a look. That's a look right there. All right, well, let's get started. All right, so what am I playing? All right, not much has changed since last week. Sort of, not much has changed. There's a couple of new things, but let's start with the old Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16. My opinion of it is not improving. I keep waiting for it to get good, and it keeps not being good. I mean, it's never terrible, but the number one problem is that I was really, when I sat down with Final Fantasy 16, based upon the reviews that I read and that I saw, my impression was that it was going to be a traditional Final Fantasy experience with Souls-like combat, replacing the traditional turn-based combat. And that was something I was on board with, 100%. That sounded like fun. And that was what I wanted to be playing. Unfortunately, Final Fantasy 16 is not that. It's so far, like I've said before, it's an extremely linear game. Way more linear than I would like. There's every once in a while I get like a hint of being able to explore, but it never really they never really stick the landing. There's an awful lot of running down corridors and doing stuff that is ultimately kind of boring. And I mean, it's kind of a damning indictment if I'm unable to enjoy myself playing this game. And the longer I play, the more it reminds me of Final Fantasy 13, which was a Final Fantasy game that I really did not enjoy. I'm going to keep pushing through, but I have a feeling that if by next week it hasn't turned around, I might be done. I've put in a good 30 to 40 hours by this point, and it's just not hooking me. And I don't know. At some point, I will decide, is this game wasting my time? And if it is, I'm just going to put it on the shelf. But I don't know. We will have to wait and see. Maybe next week I won't talk about it, or I will, and I'll say I gave up on it and put it on the shelf. Final Fantasy 16. All right, so what else am I playing? Well, I mentioned last time that I've been replaying Dark Souls Remastered with my friends. I'm still replaying it, although this isn't it. This is the Xbox One version. I'm playing it on Steam with my friends. It's also not the Switch version. I'm playing it on Steam. As an aside, I actually think the Switch port of Dark Souls Remastered is the best version of Dark Souls Remastered. And the reason I think that, and I know I shouldn't be going off on a little rant, but the reason I think the Switch version is the best is it has all of the other quality of life improvements, but because they didn't have enough storage, because in order to keep it at the budget price that they wanted it at, they couldn't they couldn't use a larger cartridge, and the end result is they couldn't store the HD textures on this thing. The end result is that Dark Souls Remastered on the Switch, it has all of the other quality of life improvements, but it has the original textures from the original game, which I think the original textures are superior to the HD textures. The HD textures that are in the Xbox version and the Steam version. So I actually think that the Switch version is the best version of this game. Fight me if you disagree. It's funny. Digital Foundry did a review years ago on Dark Souls Remastered for all the platforms, and they reached the same conclusion. They actually liked the Switch version better because it kept the original version's assets and just presented them in a higher resolution format, and it worked really well. It just looks good. Anyway, so that being said, I'm playing it on PC with my friends. I don't really have much to say. The three of us are, we're all fairly busy adults who are, I guess I'm in the middle ground. We got a guy there who's in his 40s and then another guy who's in his 60s. So me, merely a sprightly young 50. I'm in the middle. But the point is that the three of us don't have, we have busy lives outside of playing video games, and we're in 3 different time zones. So trying to get the stars to align for all 3 of us to play these games is a little bit difficult. So I don't have much to say about Dark Souls at this point. We really haven't gotten very far in the game, if I'm honest. And yeah, I love Dark Souls. It's one of my favorites. I'm still enjoying it. All right, what else am I playing? Well, several weeks ago I mentioned that I was playing stupid tiny text. I always second guess myself. I have it written down in my notes as King of Monsters 2, but I'm like, why don't you double check, look on the cartridge and make sure it really is King of Monsters 2? But then you look on the cartridge and it's tiny and my old man eyes don't work and I don't have bifocals and so I can't see it. Anyway, old man yells at cloud. King of Monsters 2. I managed to get my daughter to play this, and we had a blast, or sort of had a blast. We were having a lot of fun. We got to the final boss, and we ran out of continues, and my daughter was a little pissed, and so we haven't gone back to it. I want to see if we can try it again. The problem is the controls are rough. Like if you get in a grappling position where you've grabbed an enemy, you have to tap forward and back on the D-pad repeatedly to gain the upper hand. And that's a little rough. That's like you grapple so much that sequence happens a lot. And it was funny because, about an hour in, my daughter's like, she says, my fingies hurt, because her fingers are hurting from playing the thing. And I totally get it. It's an arduous game to play. But it's fun, and I'm glad I was able to get my daughter to play it. Again, we're playing it on the Super NT, the analog Super NT, but it is a SNES game. What I didn't know the last time I mentioned this, or rather, I knew it, but I forgot. King of Monsters is actually a Neo Geo series, and I forgot about that. I completely spaced that this was a Neo Geo franchise. Hold on. I completely spaced on it until I plugged this guy in. This is the Neo Geo Mini? I don't know what it's called. But it's basically like 40 classic Neo Geo games on a little handheld. And this isn't exactly handheld, little tabletop thing. You can plug it in. It's got HDMI out. And I intend to plug it in as soon as I redo. I need to redo my HDMI ports on my TV. I suck. I have a new TV and I need to redo them and I haven't. But the point is, I was playing this and I noticed, oh man, this got King of Fighters on it. I completely had spaced that it was an SNK Neo Geo game. Anyway, my daughter and I played it. We had a lot of fun. Like I said, we made it to the final boss. We didn't actually beat the game. And I kind of hope to go back. I might need to look up maybe if there's a cheat that can add more continues, because I have a feeling we will get to the final boss again and run out of lives, run out of continues. So if there was some way that we could have just pushed past the hard limit of, what is it, like 3 continues in the game, I think we could finish it and beat the game and have a lot of fun. But yeah, we were playing King of Monsters 2 and having a blast. All right, what else have I been playing? All the rest of these are digital. They're all on Steam. First one, Dread Delusion. I mentioned it last week. It's a great game. It's a little open world RPG. It's set in kind of a steampunk world. Some people were comparing it to Morrowind. You know, there's giant mushrooms and that's about it. Maybe some of the controls are similar to an Elder Scrolls game, but I don't know. I don't really find the gameplay that similar to Elder Scrolls in general. But it is a great little open world RPG, and I've been having a blast. I've been playing it twice. I've got 2 games going, one on my Steam Deck, one on PC. I think I mentioned before that I'm irritated that it doesn't have cloud save. I'm doubly so now that I've been playing it a little bit further. My 2 games have diverged quite a bit, and it's the sort of thing where I will, you know, on PC, I'll be like, oh, I got this thing, and I had to go up into this mountain area and kill these guys to get this thing. Where was that? Because I want to do the same thing on my Steam Deck so I can have the item as a reward. And it's like I really struggle trying to remember where it was and what I did. But I'm enjoying it a lot. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, Dread Delusion. Enjoying it greatly. It's in early access. I don't know what it is. I need to stop getting into early access games like this, because I know I'm going to be disappointed like I was with Lunacid. I just know that I will get to the end of the early access game and want more, and I will have to wait until they finish the game. But so far, I'm really enjoying it, and I do recommend it pretty highly if you are, you know, in the market for a PS1 aesthetic retro open world RPG. I've also been playing more Time Wasters, which is the Vampire Survivors clone, set in space with kind of an asteroid aesthetic to it. It's a lot of fun. I've finished the main mission for all of the characters, and if I had any complaints about it, it's that there's no real variety to the main mission. The main mission is it's literally this specific sequence of ships and waves and bosses, and you have to repeat it on every single character. And then, once you've repeated it on every single character, some characters unlock special advanced modes where they have these different restrictions that are placed on you, like you can't move, or you can't have other weapons other than your own equipped. And it adds more challenge to it, adds more difficulty, but it doesn't really give you a whole lot of variety. Like, once you've played through the sequence and you've beaten the final boss, you've kind of played and seen the entire thing. And as much as I, don't like games that have that type of a loop, I'm still really enjoying it, and I'm still playing the hell out of it. It's the sort of thing where I don't think I would really play it if it wasn't for the convenience of just taking it in my Steam Deck and just having one more run. I have a feeling if this was PC only and I didn't have the ability to play it locally, or didn't have the ability to play it portably, I should say, I don't think I would get into it as much. I guess what I'm saying is that it's a game that works really well if you have something like the Steam Deck as an option. And I'm not sure I would recommend it as highly as I do if you only had PC. You did not also have a Steam Deck to play it on. But regardless, I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. So the one final thing that I've been playing is a game called Barony. And I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that correctly. It's a kind of a dumb name. It's also on Steam. It runs on the Steam Deck. It is really well optimized, plays well on both of those platforms. Specifically, I am playing the Quality of Death beta, which, if you're full disclosure, if you are going to go and get this game and play it based upon my recommendation, go into the betas and opt in for the Quality of Death beta, because it's practically an entirely different game. I mean, it's a definite improvement over what is currently the standard edition of the game. This is also another game that's in early access, so it's probably going to improve over time, and certainly the beta that I'm playing right now, the Quality of Death beta, I think it's set to release in August. Certainly this is a better experience, so I'm very excited for what the future will bring. But what is Barony? So Barony is a first-person dungeon crawler with kind of a retro aesthetic. The friend that I was playing it with called it Minecraft. I wouldn't say it's like Minecraft. Maybe graphically it's got some similarities, but it's voxel based. But it is a dungeon crawling roguelite where all of the dungeons are randomized every time you play it. And your purpose is just to continue descending in the dungeon, trying to get to the end. There's some story involved, and some big bad that you have to defeat by getting to the bottom of the dungeon. I don't know. The story's largely forgettable, but the gameplay is a hell of a lot of fun. It's another one of these really, just one more game. You'll frequently fail, but there's this motivation to just keep playing and try one more time. And it's a lot of fun. I'm really, really thoroughly enjoying it. It also, like I said, it's on Steam, but it runs well on the Steam Deck, so I've kind of played it on both. I haven't played too much of it. Maybe less than a dozen hours so far. I'm not certain if there's much of a progression to it right now. I don't seem to be unlocking anything every time I play it. Like, I go back to the starting area, and I don't seem to have, brought anything back. There's no persistence in, learning a new ability or getting some new piece of equipment. There doesn't seem to be any persistence. And I think that that's going to be a problem if there is no persistence between runs. Eventually you'll just kind of get bored with it. But so far so good. I'll have to see if they improve it, see if they add that some sort of persistence that is kind of necessary to really give roguelite games like this some longevity in your library. But so far, I'm enjoying it. It's in early access. I'll give it a chance. I think that's all I'm playing. I don't think I got anything else. That's it. ASMR.